All right, everybody, get on in here and let's cover 90 Day Fiancé Season 12, Episode 7, The Ball and Chain of It All. A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, to my nieces and nephews, and all the y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for auntie advice. Sweet old. It's time for auntie advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for auntie advice. Let me blur this. There we go. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey. Me catch y'all coming in. Let me tell y'all something. Ray Della be out here before I do. When I tell you Ray Della be out here before I do. Ray Della be out here before I do. Y'all, give it up. Clap it up for Ray Della. I'm trying to tell y'all some real stuff. Okay? It's real. Hi, everybody. This is Auntie. And if this is y'all first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn your notification bells on so that when I go live, you go live with me. Shout out to my new subscribers. It's been so many of you all. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and for liking the content. And to my nieces, nephews, and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, waiting on me to do a membership video. I swear I got to get back to it. Thank y'all so much for y'all continued support. I truly appreciate it. Y'all, this episode, The Ball and the Chain, was kind of weird. I'm going to take my time through this. For those of you all who don't go to my community wall, I just put up a community post talking about The Polygamist on Netflix. Y'all, when I tell you it is out of control, it's out of control. I am going to try to get that video up tomorrow. Can't promise you because I can't even remember what episode that I'm on. Hold on, let me turn on some air. Oh, it ain't even plugged up. Let me just turn this on. I can't remember what episode I'm on, but it is hot as a firecracker. Let me shout out the young. No, I'll shout her out when I do the actual video. So turn your notification bells on because this is a wild ride. I don't even think I completed my sentence because I'm so hyped up off of it. It is Netflix, The Polygamist. I think it's like, golly, like 19 episodes or something like that. I'm probably going to do it on Wednesday because I don't see myself finishing it up, writing my notes or typing my notes and getting all the characters, all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, Giselle said it's 22 episodes. And I've been watching it non-stop. Ate my dinner, cooked my dinner with it, like everything. Lord Jesus. Let me see how many episodes it is, because now Giselle's saying she think. Let me just verify. Hold on, y'all, because I want y'all to watch it so that y'all can jump downtown in the comment sections. The Polygamist. Let me see how many episodes it is. 22 episodes. So Giselle was right. You was right, Giselle. It's 22 episodes. Okay, y'all, let's get into this. Let me pull these people up so that we can have a conversation about the show. Um, yeah, let's talk about it. So the first couple that we're going to talk about is Shea and Annabelle. So Shea and Annabelle, of course, we all know that since she has been here in America, she has been suspicious of her fiance Shea. She went and had a nail appointment, or mani patty with a young lady and his daughter. And this young lady, she was not even aware that this is the lady that has been allegedly giving some romance to Shay. So they tell her basically ain't nothing going on. And I'm hoping I watched the whole episode. I don't even know if I watched the whole episode. I think I did. And so she is back home with Shay, and he asked her how everything went, and she said that they told her that he was a good boy, that he was not cheating, even though this is the lady that he has been accused of actually being in a relationship with. And but the lady wasn't giving up the go. So it's a young lady, I believe her name is Nicole, is the one that he was married to, his second wife, who came to the house before Annabelle even got here to say, hey, I'm gonna bust you out. So he is trying to, get around that, right? He's trying to put his little flag in the ground before it all comes out, because it's all gonna come out. So Annabelle is like, okay, you was a good boy. They didn't say anything bad about you. So the daughter didn't say anything at that particular time because Annabelle had revealed that Shay had given her some information. And so she was like, oh, okay, I didn't think my father would say that much. I want some ice cream. And so anyway, he is telling her that he's getting ready to go out with the boys and hang out, have some brewskis and stuff like that. And he wanted her to join him. He said, give you an opportunity to meet some new people. And she was like, no, I'm not interested in that. I'm tired and I just want to stay at home. So the two of them stayed at home, and she was telling him that he needed to do some yoga. And so she sat on the floor, and he needed to drink herbal tea. So she gave him some herbal tea, and he was calling himself doing yoga. She had already told him that, since the last time she saw him in the Philippines, that he had gained some weight and stuff. And so this is her way. Okay, that's getting on my nerve. This is her way of basically, trying to get him back in shape. But what they was doing is not going to get him back in shape. Honey, he needed a lot of work. And so anyway, the two of them, I guess had a little lovely evening, and it was what it was. And I guess, probably right before the season is over, we'll get some drama out of them. I don't know. But for right now, it's a little boring. The next couple that I want to talk about is Marissa and Edward. Now, I found this very interesting. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'm sure y'all will. But this was Edward's opportunity to meet Marissa's family. Now, remember, the ex-husband had already warned him about the status of the family, how he felt being in this relationship with Marissa, and how he, was perceived and treated by the family. Now, this is, his perception. Okay, let me shut this down. This was his perception, right, of his treatment, and he just was trying to pass it along to him and trying to really encourage him that don't let that, you know, stop you from having a relationship with Marissa. So Marissa is getting the house all set up and all of that kind of stuff. She said that, she's having a typical Italian meal. I don't know what that is. Y'all let me know what that is downtown in the comment section. And the family comes over. So it's her father, her mother and her father, I think a auntie, a cousin, and several other people. And they're trying to figure out, they're coming in to meet him, of course, but they all got their questions and their preconceived notions about who Edward is, and they want to know, what's his motive. So the family is kind of, going around the table with light talk at first, like how was it coming here and all of that kind of stuff. And so the mom and I think it was a cousin went out on the patio, out on the deck, to have I guess a more direct conversation with him. I guess that's what you can say. And so, they already know what his financial status is. That's a given that they know what his financial status is. And remember, y'all, these are my opinions. Y'all let me know y'all's downtown in the comment section. And so what I'm going to say may not be popular. It may be very unpopular, but y'all know how I roll. It's my opinion. Let me know yours. So the mom asked him a specific question. What is it about Marissa that made you attracted to her? That made you leave your family, your friends, your home, and all of that? He goes on to give an answer about what it is that he likes. He likes a woman, basically that's going to support him, blah, 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 blah. Marissa was disappointed in his answer. And I was too. It raised so many red flags for me because what it sounded like, in my opinion, was that he was giving a stock answer, STOCK. The answer that they tell everybody to answer with. I like this kind of woman. I like that kind of woman. And I know that y'all think that I'm here to be in America, but I'm not. I had a good life. It just sounded like a stock answer. It sounded like it was rehearsed. It sounded like his mama or somebody sat him down and said, look, this is going to be your answer. That's just how it sounded to me. Because he did not speak to, what he really liked about her. He just spoke about what his intentions were not. And that is not an answer. Moreover, he really comes off very arrogant, almost combative in his answers. And if I was Marissa's mother, I mean, I wouldn't even have to be Marissa's mother. I took issue with the way that he answered it. And none of us have said you came over here just to get a green card. None of us said that. The mother asked a simple question. What is it about her that made you attracted to her? And so when she said, his answer was okay, when Marissa said his answer was okay, but I wouldn't have led with what he led with, I totally agreed with her. She is basically letting him know that he's becoming a third wheel, a third child to her. And I just think that he's not leading with the right foot. And I think that whatever he rehearsed at home just would not have worked for me. And that's not me being judgmental. That's just me listening and saying, you never answered the question. And so I had typed it up in ChatGPT, right? And was like, I gave his answer. And ChatGPT kind of agreed with me. He never answered the question. He just said what he wasn't there. What he left. Like, we know. But I notice about a lot of these people, they are talking about these sacrifices that they made. It's the same thing that Annabelle said to Shea. I sacrificed and I left my home and I left this and that. And I'm saying, but sometimes you sacrifice to gain more. Sometimes you do that. Some people walk away from a career where they're making good money to go after their passion and make even more. And there are many circumstances and situations where we walk away and sacrifice something in order to obtain more. I know someone who gave up their home, their townhome, moved into a home with a friend in order to get a single family home. There's certain sacrifices that are worth it to you. But if it was so much of a sacrifice to come here, then don't come. I think that would make me very angry and uncomfortable if I'm with someone and they're constantly throwing in my face everything that they walked away from. Walk back to it then. I think that Marissa is not understanding that the vacation is over. I think she's going to learn it very fast. He doesn't seem like he's a guy that gets in and where he fits in. He seemed like he's kind of young minded and rightfully so. And he seems like he is not used to assessing a situation and providing some assistance. Because at first I was looking at it that she was being bossy with him. But then I was looking at it like she's probably like, well, common sense would say, get up and help me, right? Instead of being on your cell phone. And I gotta tell you, but she has to understand that the man is young. And yeah, I got a feeling she gonna marry him, but okay. Thomas and Paula are so boring to me. They fussing over closets. They don't have no issues. And a $250 raw. They don't have no issues. They just need to work out the stuff. Now I know, she has some cologne on, and he's allergic to cologne perfume, and it was nauseating to him. And I have a family member who is just like that. If they ask me to take them somewhere, I make sure I air my car out so that they don't smell the scents that I spray in my car. I like those Bath and Body Works, the ones that come in a little small can. Do I got one up here? I usually keep them. Oh, the little Bath and Body Works sprays. I love those, and I love spraying those in my car. And when I have to pick up this particular family member, I make sure that the car's aired out. I leave the windows open when I'm driving, even if it's cold or hot, because just the scent of strong perfume bothers this particular family member terribly. I mean, to the place of nausea, right? Just nausea, no, just sick. So I understand what it is to have somebody who has an issue with smells, and I think that she blew it off. And I think that he now is blowing off her $250 rock. He is saying that she is spending things on unnecessary things, and that she needs a credit card. He wants to give her this credit card. I think the limit was like $25,000, which is not bad. But he's afraid that she's going to end up getting into credit card debt. They just really boring. They don't have issues like the rest of these couples, and that's a good thing. The next one I want to talk about is Mallory and Rasit. So of course we all know that last week that they had their little get together for him, and he had approached her friend and told him he did not want him to have anything to do with his wife, girlfriend. Didn't want him in his home. Now, he just got here and he's already making demands. This guy has been there for her, been there for her animals, their friends. Yes, they had a relationship, but they have been able to maintain a friendship outside of their relationship or situationship that they was in. But Razzie feels like, he wants to mimic him and make fun of his voice being deep, and I don't like it. Like, it rubs me all the wrong kind of way. I don't like it at all. I don't like him making fun, because there's a lot of things that we can make fun of him of. And so anyway, he is, having a conversation with her again, about him, being disrespectful and sitting on the guy's tailgate and all of that kind of stuff, right? And she's trying to tell him, look, we're going to be friends. The two of y'all need to get together and work this out. I disagree with that. I don't think that they need to work it out. I think that she needs to work it out with him, and to tell him there are some boundaries here, and there's a line. It's not invisible. I need you to know that it's clear, and this is my friend. He's not going anywhere. And so I know that you are calling this culture, but this is more than culture. This is insecurities. This is desperation, that you don't want nobody to mess it up. Understandable. You don't want any outside interference in your relationship, but at the end of the day, if the two of them are mature enough to establish a friendship and don't cross those boundaries, then you should respect that. If I could see him saying something about it and being the way that he is, if she had shown over time that the relationship, was a little, you know, um, how can I put it? That there was some questionable behavior going on, that the two of them were crossing boundaries. I could see him being where he is, but he's there for no reason at all, other than the fact that he knows that the two of them were in a relationship. One of the content creators that I watch, right, made a comment and said that, he understands and he agrees with the fact that he is creating, that he doesn't want them to be friends. And she should respect it and cut the relationship off. And I beg to differ, and I'm going to tell you why. If you have a controlling man and you don't nip stuff in the bud at the beginning, you will find yourself repeatedly having to relive that. Anybody who has been in a manipulative relationship, manipulative and controlling relationship, knows that you can never satisfy them by being obedient or agreeing to their demands. It is going to cause them to now want to put others. So if she has a relationship with Ronald, and he suspects, because based on his insecurities, he suspects that there's something going on with Ronald, now she can't talk to Ronald. If she has a relationship with XYZ, she can't have like, no. You have to, he needs to be taught that that's your insecurity. That's where you are. And you're going to have to deal with that right there where you are, because if I do it for one, I'm going to have to do it for all, because now I have set a precedence where you are in control and are managing my relationships. She said that, the other, that there's a girlfriend that's in the middle of it. And if she severs this relationship, then she can't hang out with the girl. Like, no. And one thing I don't like is an insecure man or a woman. It is this. It's sickening. And when you're like that, it causes issues in your own life, where you got to manage your emotions and try to regulate your emotions because you're so worried about managing and regulating somebody else's. Like, get out of my face with that. You're going to have to be mature. And you're going to have to understand making fun of him doesn't help. And that I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to keep my relationship. And if this is something you can't manage, go to a woman, okay, that's going to bow down to your insecurity, because insecurity doesn't get healed by obedience. It will be something else. Your shirt, like the shirt I got on, your shirt is too low. I don't want you to wear your shirt. It just graduates. It doesn't reduce by obedience, by you saying, okay, I give in. I won't talk to him anymore. Okay, so who's next on the list? And after a while, you have isolated yourself. Okay, we've seen this, women. Come on now. I ain't no young chick. After a while, you find yourself isolated from your family and your friends, all because this person got an insecurity. Get over your insecurities. I cannot stand insecure men. I can't. It's the worst thing. It's so unattractive for a man to be insecure. Stand in your grown self. If you worth your soul in the earth, then can't nobody take the seasoning out. Sit up there and cut a daggone relationship off with somebody who has been your friend and will be there before he even is there. Ain't no way. But the guy told him, I'm like taxes, I ain't going away. And I don't blame him. Stand up for your friendship with this young lady. People can have relationships and still be friends. There's people I've been in relationships with and now we friends. And ain't nothing going on but the rent at separate homes. It just means that he lacks the maturity in that area. But because you lack maturity in that area, don't make it a woman's problem. Doesn't make it your partner's problem. And if it's coming from a woman, it doesn't make it their problem. That's your problem. And then to mimic him, he has no control over how deep his voice is. He's a baritone. And so this is what he wants to make fun of. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it at all. And like she said, if he wants a woman like himself, that he should have married one of them. And I absolutely agree with that. And I was like, stand down. Okay, creative with Candace said my ex-husband was like that, trying to control everything. Yeah, like who? What? Imagine, just imagine, he was Joseph. Joseph got an issue. He got massive problems with Catie. She is not Catie. Women like Catie, you need to set your standards, create your boundaries together, stick to them. And once it's broken, you out. Once you break once the boundaries have been crossed, you out. It ain't all this back and forth going back and like, who got time for that? No one. If you are in a relationship with a man who has a problem with you being with other males and having male friendships that balances out your life, or if you are with a woman who is doing that, get out that relationship because their problems are deep enough to swim in. And then there'll be psychological stuff that'll be going on, and you got to always be pacified. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. That stuff is deep, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. Okay, women and men, don't you stay in no relationship where people are dictating who you can and you can't talk to. That's crazy. I've never tolerated it in the past and never will. The next couple that I want to talk about is Aisha and Maxwell. So I looked up Aisha today, and Aisha owns a restaurant. The restaurant is open up. Let me see if I can find it, if I took a picture of it. The restaurant is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a soul food restaurant in Alabama. Let me see if I can find it. And she has a picture on the wall. It's called Bella May Alabaster. She has a picture up on the wall, and I meant to upload it with a picture of her and her man. It's the same picture that's right here. And I think that he lives here now. Again, it's a restaurant. Let me see if I can show y'all. This is her restaurant. It's a soul food kitchen. And like I said, it opens up. She has on her reviews, her restaurant score is 4.5 out of 5. So that's good. People have done videos on TikTok and stuff like that about her restaurant and said that the soul food is really, really good. Okay. She also talked about on one of her videos on TikTok that she is a doctor. She is a pharmacist. So kudos, to her. So, having said that, let's talk about what we saw. So, of course, her and her mom have been picked up from the airport, and they are going to meet his parents and his sister. They have decided to rent out a home for them to move into, so that they all can stay in the same house together and get to know each other. I totally disagree with that. No. Now, I don't know if they were traveling hundreds and hundreds of miles away in order to, like, why couldn't they go to his parents' home? Why couldn't she get a hotel down the street from the parents' home? Why the whole family got to be lodged up together? Now, her, she's riding in the car and everything, and they're going, and she has her mom with her, and she is talking about, her outfit. And so she has like a little tank on, her arms are exposed. And so he's like, when you get around my parents, you're going to have to put like a jacket on. And so she was like, it's hot out here. I don't know what to wear. I'm confused about what it is that he wants from me. He says he wants me to be sexy, but yet when we're around his parents, he wants me to dress conservatively. And I was like, okay, so that's not hard to understand, doctor. Just like when you go up in a pharmacy, because she's a pharmacist, you put a white coat on or a blue coat or a coat that has the CVS or what's the other one? CVS, Rite Aid. These are the ones we got. Oh my God, where's the other one that I always go to? I can't even think of the name of it. You put their coats on. When in Rome, do as the Romans. That's not hard for you to figure out, Doctor. Walgreens. That's it. Thank you, y'all. Walgreens. That's not hard, Doctor. You dress appropriately in front of the family. You should have your hoochie mama stuff on or anything that they think is unacceptable, i.e., your arms being out. There's some places that you can't go into, including restaurants, where you are not fully dressed. People don't like it, but it is what it is. So I didn't see what he was saying as something that was just this big, huge mystery. And maybe it's me, but I was like, where's the mystery in this? When you're around the parents, clothes wrap up. That's just like, if you, that's just like if you at a hotel setting, right? And it's your family. Let's say you at a family get together, you at a wedding, and everybody is lodging at the same hotel. You got your boo thing with you, your husband, your fiance, or whatever. When you go around the general population of the family, you're not going to come in there with your slinky pajamas on. Now, your man may want to see it in the bedroom, in the hotel room that way, but that wouldn't be appropriate for you to go to the family breakfast. Put a put a little casual outfit on, one of those nice long robes, because I have like these real pretty long robes that look like a complete outfit. It ain't the little terry cloth and all of that kind of stuff. It's like a really fancy, beautiful robe that looks like a wraparound dress. And they robes. Got them off of Amazon. Love them. And they're fully appropriate. But I also make sure I'm covered at the bottom, not with a short nightgown on, but with a nightgown pants set, a nice top, and a nice pants set with that. Like, it's just, this isn't rocket science. But anyway, they get to the house and everything. And she talks about him having a sister by the name of Marissa, and that Marissa is her worst nightmare because Marissa's all up into the business. So when they get to the house, the parents are there and they're very warm and welcoming. And they say that, this is just like the love of their life. He is their everything, they're all in all. But if they want Maxwell to get married and they want Maxwell to have these 4 kids they was talking about, they need to stand down. That's what I suggest. But anyway, that's just a suggestion. So after they do their little greetings and everything, the mother and them are trying to be cordial. They met her mom and everything. And I noticed when she came through the door, she didn't even hold her for her mother. Now, Maxwell had it, but still, it's just an automatic reflex for me. So the sister ends up coming over to the house. They're having dinner. They have like a little bowl where they all got to wash their hand in a bowl. I'm hoping they all had individual bowls, but I digress. And it's so, they're starting to eat. Marissa comes in, and Marissa comes in hot. She's all the way live. She's ready to ask questions. And I don't want Asia to be feeling some kind of way because you already knew that this was what it was, which is why y'all all decided to stay in the same house together. And so it would appear to me that she would be open to hear the question and give answers. Where she's uncomfortable with, she could graciously say, I feel uncomfortable about answering that. But she's already on guard because she said that Marissa found her on Facebook and back to the creation of her Facebook page and saw all her pictures. And so Marissa is coming in. Marissa has an issue with her wanting to change the brother. And so they had brought up the fact that, he was using his skin stuff. And and the sister wanted to use it as like a weapon. And he said, but it has worked. It was a skin peel. He said it has worked. But then he comes in and he throws her under the bus by saying, she wants to change my eyes. She want to change my hairline. She want to change this. She want to change that. Now, I must admit, prior to seeing the picture that he showed, I mean, I'm talking about the picture out of his phone, I thought it was a bit much and that she was trying to change him too. But after I saw that chemical peel and I saw the results of it, I was like, she was spot on. So she talked about the white part of his eyes and how it is yellowing and being dull. She said that this is caused by years of not protecting his eyes. The sister said, no, all of our eyes are like this in Nigeria. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The sister wants to argue for argument's sake. She wants to make and pick on every little thing. This is just what I'm getting. Y'all let me know in the comments section. But she just wants to pick on everything. And Asia said he doesn't know what he likes until he sees it. And if given the context, I agree. I agree. There are improvements that people will make, and you never know. Perfect example where you have a makeup artist to professionally do your face. And you look in the mirror at the reveal and you be like, what? That's me? And they'll give you some of them, will give you little pointers on how you can do this, enhance your eyes, your lips, lipstick, and stuff like that. I like, you don't know what you like until you see it. Like, you don't. The family is finding stuff because they ask her, when y'all get married, how many children do you believe that you want? And she said about two. And the mother and them was like, that's unacceptable. And I was like, well, how many kids the girl got? Because she looked like she came through the door with two kids. And how you going to tell somebody how many kids to push out? The father said, I want four. Then you have them. Where you four? I'm sorry, Dad, what? Where's your four children? And pregnancy is not a guarantee. Birthing a baby is not a guarantee. You don't know until you start trying to get pregnant whether or not you can even get pregnant. And if you get pregnant, whether you can birth that child to completion. These conversations that they're having are stupid because if the father, she answered it very well. She said, we'll have what God gives us, what God is, gives us. She answered that very well because I probably would have went to the left with it. And now I know y'all going to ask me questions, but to tell me how many children you expect for me to have? And like, what's his job? Then that, she just as delusional as she can be. And it's a sad sight to see. She's very delusional, in my humble opinion. She gets into this argument with Mido, right? And Mido gets left on the street to catch an Uber home. He does not want her to be emotional. He doesn't want her to communicate with him. He would rather sit in the car and pick his nose. He is on 1 minute and off the next. And so the friends have observed this and now they're watching for it. So she pulls off, leaves him, and the girlfriends are like, he's just rude. He's just a nasty individual. The way that he talks to her, there's no way. She needs to get rid of him. Meantime, and in between time, he had called her a. You could get in an argument with your significant other, but when you start calling people out your names, the respect is gone. You have to call me a female dog. It's no need for us to be together because you just crossed the line. And that's my opinion on that. And then when you put power behind it and it's coming out with vitriol, it's a done deal. I wondered why she was like this. Mido gets to the house and he is allegedly looking for flights and can't find one. You may not have found one for that day, Mido. But ain't no way in the world these flights ain't going out of somebody's airport maybe 1 or 2 days later. You didn't want to find one because you know that this woman, in my opinion, is weak enough to take your bull crap. As I mentioned to you all, she got married in December. I mentioned and thought that it was the 15th, wasn't really clear. It looks like the date is somewhere between the 12th and the 15th of December of 2025. And now she's on social media trying to defend him. And it's so sad because it's like a mother justifying why her son got a D on his report card. He got it because that's the effort he put in it. And people are not saying what they're saying about Mido in order to bully him. They're saying what they observed from the show. And she is on there saying, come on, y'all, stop making these comments. But people are making comments based on what they have seen. Ain't nobody. So the producers are trying to figure out what's going on. He says, I was willing to listen to her, but no, you were yelling at her and cussing and got into an argument with her friends. And the friend told you, you better stand down because I ain't the one. So now he's at home. She's laying up in the bed and she says she feels like this feels familiar to her based on a past relationship that she was in a loveless marriage with her husband. And I said, but baby, those who forget the past soon relive it. You didn't learn from that past relationship. You like familiar spirits. You like people who come with that spirit that you are familiar with, that you think that you should be associated with based on how you judge and see yourself. That's my opinion. Because when you're done with a certain spirit or a attitude or personality, you've learned your lesson, you will never go back. And the moment you recognize it and you see it for what it is, you are out. You out of there. You can meet people, I don't care if it's male or female. I don't care if it's friend or what, or relationship. Familiar spirits, your body knows it. It knows it. It recognizes it instantly. Now, and it's up to you to say, I don't want to go back to this kind of relationship. Or because I'm familiar, I'm going to lean and see if I can correct some things that happened in the past. Because I'm familiar with this and I know how to deal with this. No. Wrong answer. Run. So she's laying up in the bed. This man laying under her roof, and they haven't had a conversation, and he gets an opportunity to lay up in my house and not have a conversation with me. Even if we have a conversation to agree that we'll talk in the morning, we're going to have a conversation. You are not going to lay on my sofa. You're not going to lay on my sofa. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. So the next day she goes and meets with her girlfriend. And this is how you know when a woman think you're wrong and she's right. This is when you realize that a woman or a man, okay, I'm just talking about a woman because it's Debbie, don't respect what you say because you're the one that's doing a conversation. Her girlfriend sat there and was like, something's going on. He's not a good person. He was disrespectful to you. And she going, mm-hmm and uh-huh. She just echoing what you're saying. And at that point, when I have people in my life who echo what I'm saying, I cut the conversation off because you are just letting me talk because you think that this is the right thing to do. You want to feel and see whether or not I'm seeing what you're seeing, even though you're not going to do anything to change it. And then you're going to sit there and make an excuse for him. When she asked her flat out, do you think that he is here for you? She said, that's what he told me. That's what he said. Girl, but you've already said, I feel like this man doesn't love me. And your first instinct is your right instinct most of the time. When your gut and your mind come together and connect, you know it all through the rest of your body that this just isn't a right situation. You ever walked into a building and you just be like, something ain't right. Let me leave back out. It's okay. I don't need that today. I've been in stores where I've been like, something's going on. And I'll leave out the store and forsake whatever it was because your gut most of the time is right on point. The girlfriend is telling her, you need to send him back home. He doesn't respect you. He didn't even respect us. He seems like he's here for a career and not to be with you. And she's like, yeah, it was bad. Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. That year, that mm-hmm, and a little bit of agreement means I don't agree with you at all. And I am not going to change my behavior. And that's what Debbie did. Instead of Debbie sitting there and defending her, which would make her girlfriend really dig in. She just gonna let her girlfriend say what she gotta say, eat your muffin footer and drink your coffee. I'm just gonna let you talk so I can say that I did this, that I was open to a conversation with you. But for real, I don't care nothing about it. I don't care anything about what you're saying. I am not gonna change this behavior. And she said, you know what? He has to he gotta apologize. If he was going to apologize, and if he felt like he needed to apologize, Debbie, I believe he would have did that as soon as he got home. He's not remorseful because he even embellished the story when he talked to the producers about it and said that he wanted to have a conversation with you, but he's sitting up there saying, why is she crying? She's crying because she's without words. And I think that she's crying because here she is again, finding herself in the same exact situation she was in before. Debby is not a young teenage girl in her first relationship. Come on, Debby. And if I gotta excuse your behavior, I don't need to be with you. And that's what Debby's doing. And she said that it feels familiar. Yazil said, I don't usually call people dummies, but she's a dummy. And that's the thing about it. We all believe that he needs to be back home. And he does too. Because he don't. Mm-mm. But I ain't going to stay on him. I'm going to move on to the last couple. This girl. Every week when I review her and I mention OCD, right? People have a definition for me or want to explain it to me a certain way or whatever. And while I understand that OCD can be different, this behavior that we're seeing on this show, in my opinion, is not OCD. She may have a touch of it, but the horror of it all has zero to do with being OCD. This girl, in my opinion, causes trauma to other people as a result of the things that she says out of her mouth and the things that she does. Joseph is being so disrespected, it's almost nauseating. I started to go live last night and talk about how very nauseating her behavior is to me. It's the sheer disrespect, the quirky lip that goes up when she thinks that she has gotten away with something. It's her being so dismissive of not only what he says but what he needs. Josh Josh wants to win. Josh is a fixer. He thinks he can fix her by talking to her. Josh is culpable. He's culpable. He allows this girl to have inappropriate conversations with him, matched by her actions. She didn't even care. Like something's wrong because she didn't even care about the quality of the mattress she was laying on. There's a disassociation with reality here. And I am trying to be so kind. But reality is not in her sight, in my humble opinion. She is completely dismissive and unattached from her actions. And it's the look that she gives, this sinister smile, like I done really got away with something. It is nauseating how she talks to him. And he's steady saying, I don't want this. It's unacceptable. But yet he ain't figured out that his cell phone is a computer that if he presses the right buttons, it'll tell him when the flights are leaving to go back home. Why hasn't he gone home yet? He's steady throwing up these, if you do this, I'm gonna do that. Well, kid, what are we waiting on here? Thank you so much, Crystal Hogan, for the 99-cent super sticker. Thank you, boo. Thank you so much. She's sinister to me. I don't know what Josh's motives are now. Because now I'm questioning Josh's motives. Is he one of those type of people that just got, in this episode, her birthday is coming up. And of course, he says, what you gonna do? Of course. I'm sure all of us said go to a bar. So she tells him, I gotta tell you something. He's like, what? Well, I'm inviting somebody that you don't like. He said, who? It's probably a list of people he don't like. And she says, Ryan. I think that was his name. And he's like, what is he doing here? So he gives the background about who and what role Ryan played in their life. That she oopsed and did some things with, y'all understand what I'm saying? She did some things. Thank you so much, Karen. Karen Sleeve one for the $1 super chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, sweetie. She went overboard with this guy. They broke up or stopped, hanging around each other. She has a relationship with Josh. Josh has already met him, so he's been familiar with the dude. And here he comes right back around the corner. She says that, she was just so excited that she innocently and accidentally invited him. Didn't even think about it. Oh my God. After I invited him, now I realize, no, girl, it was intentional. And he's saying, she wants to correct me and withhold things from me, but doesn't for herself. And how long does she think that I'm going to tolerate this and that this is unfair? So, Josh, okay, so do you need a map? So now he's got to deal with this. Long to the short of it, y'all, they get to the bar. She see her friends, but before she did, she said we should have a contest to see who who can kiss the most people. So you already know how you gonna act. Like this isn't something that like just happens to her and overtakes her. This is pre-planned. So they get to the bar and she immediately start drinking. And it's like a bottle. I know that beer was 20 ounces. If it wasn't 32. It was, to me, it was so big it was equivalent to her walking around with a keg, just dragging the keg on some rollaway cart with a straw in it. This girl was taking that beer to the head. I think that she uses alcohol. She makes sure she numbs herself, right? So she can really have the boldness to do the stuff that she really be premeditating in her mind. I think that alcohol helps her get numb herself. Cause she already know what she doing before she get there. And you ain't gonna tell me no different. Just like you ain't gonna tell me that this is OCD. I don't want to hear it. She gets down there, she got a 32-ounce, look like glass of beer, and she's down in it. As she waiting for the fireworks show to start between Josh and this gentleman. Cause she knows she going in. She knows she gonna kiss him. She knows she gonna be in his face. She just gotta numb herself enough. Next thing you know, she got a second beer. Dude shows up, and he arrogant. And so Josh is like, "Why are you here?" Dude says, "Well, she been telling me she don't really like her life. She ain't really happy. She don't know what she want to do." But wait a minute, didn't you apply for a K1 visa? Didn't you put some money down on it, send it in, wait for it to come back? What do you mean? The K1 visa is not just like a blink of the eye, and you got it. You have to work for that. But she has every intention of being with this guy, and this guy has every intention of being with her. Because he says she been telling me, I mean, come on, this ain't a coincidence that I'm here. This just keeps on happening, doesn't it? Means something, don't it, Catie? Catie told me she ain't liking her life. And Josh is standing there. She says she don't want to kiss the boy or nothing like that, but she knows she going to. So why is George hanging around for this? And why did she bring George here? Was it to be on 90 Day, y'all? It's nauseating to me. Just the utter disrespect of the man. And George, watching this happen. They outside. He like, well, I thought that Catie and I was getting married. Are we getting married, Catie? And Catie got the bill. 90, talk about 99 bottles of beer on the wall. And where's her girlfriends? Why's all these men? They all probably think Josh is the stupidest man. That they ever met. She is making a joke and a mockery out of him. I'm watching her with the beer, and she just studying. And you drinking that to numb. You're drinking that to have an excuse for the behavior that you know that you already set up there and imagined you was going to do. That's why you invited him. But if you don't want Josh, send Josh home. Send him home. You don't want the man to have any furniture. You don't want him to be comfortable. You don't care enough about himself or yourself to even clean a mattress. And it's only a twin. You can get a twin for $29.99. And the guys, in my opinion, thinks so low of her that they just show up so they probably can talk about it and watch the foolishness unfold. Because where are your girlfriends? Where are your girlfriends? I had to be a little calm this whole entire video because there's so many things, y'all. When I'm telling y'all that I'm biting my tongue, and I know y'all can tell I am biting my tongue. It's getting so hard to watch. Y'all remember I went through this phase last year where it just gets very hard to watch. And the thing about it is, not only am I watching it in other content creators, we got to mull it over in our minds, right? So that we can come back and do a review for y'all. And I'm going to tell you right now, she just was nauseating yesterday. Because Joseph, I think, and I'm going to say this, and it may be unpopular, and I'm okay with that. Joseph, I think, wants us to see him as a victim. I think he has a plan as well, y'all. I'm just going to be honest. I think that Joseph wants us to see him as a victim. And if he stays here in the state, we'll say he deserves it. I said it. I said what I was thinking. I think he's playing us. I think that he wants us to be like, yeah, Josh, he deserves to be here. He deserves it. Everything he took off of Catie. All the stuff that, no. If you don't love her and she's not marriage material, go home. Because the K1 visa is for people who genuinely want to be with their partner. And as far as him and Muhammad slash Mido and Edward, because I don't think that Edward loved no. I don't think Edward loved Marissa more than I do. I think that he is like Pedro. And when I see him, let me bring him up on the screen for the people that's not really familiar. When I see him and his interactions and the way that he acts, he reminds me of Pedro. When Pedro first came here with Chantel, he reminds me, his mannerism, the way he speaks, the arrogance of it all. He reminds me of Pedro. And if he stays here and she marries him, I'm telling y'all, season after season, we're going to see him display the same behavior as Pedro. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely don't think he's here because he loves her. I think he saw a wealthy American Caucasian woman. He knocked her boots off and convinced her that he loves her and that he will be here to be a father to her children. I don't even think that they're compatible. I know they're not because he don't have nothing but a sacrifice. I sacrificed and I left everything. Go back. Don't nobody know how to book a flight. It's mighty funny. They know how to book one to get up over here, but they don't know how to book one to go back home. Go home, Fido. Go home. I don't think any of them are. Like, this is the worst. And they've already frustrated me. And I can't even imagine how it's going to be in the next couple of weeks. But we going to see some stuff, y'all. We going to see some stuff. Y'all, thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for being faithful to the channel. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, Crystal and Karen, for your super chats. I really do appreciate it. Every cent and dollar counts. And so I truly do appreciate y'all for taking the time to even push the button and to give a super chat. As you all know, the super chat goes back into the channel and they are used to help your cousins, fellow cousins, with just some hardships that they may be having. So it all does go back into the channel. And so I appreciate you all doing that. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode, what y'all thought about these couples. Am I off, y'all, or am I on? Okay. And don't forget that I will be covering The Polygamist on Netflix. So y'all make sure that y'all watch that. Anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you all again for being here. Um, like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you got tonight. And until we meet next time, y'all be safe in those streets and in the water. Bye, y'all.